Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cody TroutPod. Today is something of an artist special. I have two of my friends here who are artists in many different mediums and in many different ways, and we're going to get into all the hilarity, all the trials, all the tribulations, the glory, and the failures of what being an artist in any capacity is. But I think before that, I have a very, very important question about another famous artist. So, about 80 years ago, there was another famous artist named Adolf Hitler. And he failed as an artist. And because he failed as an artist, he decided to kill millions of people. And I want you both to make me a promise right now that if you fail as artists, you will not kill millions of people. Do I have your word?
You have my word.
You have my word.
Wow, 2 for 2. I
had hesitated for a second.
I had a feeling Zonley was not going to commit murder. I had my doubts. I thought, Jack,
the quiet ones.
I thought you might get a little angry. So that makes me feel a lot better. And now morally, I can continue with this episode.
Beautiful.
So me, tomorrow, when I'm editing, roll the intro music. I'm Cody Troutman, and this is my podcast. The Cody TroutPod.
Cody TroutPod.
That beautiful intro video that you saw, if you're watching the video version, was actually shot and edited by this man right here, Jack Dyer.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Cody. Big fan, long-time viewer. It's just an honor to be here to sit in between two great individuals. You know, I'm excited.
Wow, this is I'm a little starstruck right now. You know, you made so many great projects. Your crowning achievement, obviously, my video intro. But there's been a lot of big achievements. So this is Jack. To my immediate right, to his right is Zonley. And Zonley, I wouldn't even know. This is what I want you guys to do, because I'm also curious when people ask you what you do for a living, what you tell them. So if I just asked you, hey, what do you do? Because you do so many things, for context. Zonley paints, he does tattoos, sculptures, large art installations that I wouldn't even know what medium to classify in. Also makes music, writes, sings, a lot of different things. And so I'm curious, if somebody asks you, what do you do? Like, what do you tell them? What's their reaction? How does that even go?
Right. So usually, if someone asks what I do, I just tell them that I'm an artist, and then obviously get down into the specifics of, I tattoo, I paint, make music, we do sculptures, paint live. It's just
the live paintings are sick.
Just full spectrum. I'm an artist to the core, and that's who I am, man. So
have you always been? Because I think that's something that we've been friends for a long time, but I don't know if I've ever we've talked about maybe you becoming an artist, but did you always know it was what you wanted to do? Because I remember there was a time that you had a scholarship to play college baseball and had other options. What made you say no, I'm gonna be a creative?
Well, I'd done art my whole life, but I never knew that it would be a professional gig for me.
Yeah.
I was really focused on sports when I was growing up, and like you said, I went to play baseball in college, and college just opened up my eyes, and it's very, very serious when you start paying for school. You know what I'm saying? And it's this is serious now. You're paying for it. You know what I'm saying? You're invested in it a little bit differently.
So you're thinking about return on investment at that point, instead of just I got to go to school. I got to, go to high school. They're going to throw my parents in jail. It's all right, am I really getting what I'm paying for at that point?
And I took it serious, man. College was when I really focused in. My 1 year that I was in it, I had a 3.8 GPA, the highest GPA on the baseball team,
Smart.
Okay.
But I was I was hustling. I was staying up late. I was doing, work, and I was still doing art at the same time. At the time, I was drawing on all white Vans, so I was doing customized shoes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I already knew that there was potential there, that I could make money off of it. But it was when I was supposed to return. It was 2 weeks before I was supposed to return for training for my sophomore year. I started tattooing. And that first night, that first tattoo, I was like, I could do this. You know? It just clicked in my head. And, with my cousin that was there, Lance, that's who I tattooed. And he's like, bro, you could do this. I'm like, I can do this. And I did another tattoo the next day, and another tattoo the next day.
Were these people like paying you for it, or was it just like, hey,
no?
I'm
These were
like...
people that just like, bro, I trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you could draw, I know you could do it, so just fuck it, tattoo me. Wow. And I tattooed them in my bedroom, and I called my coach the next week, and I told him I had to give up my scholarship, and that I needed to make that jump. So.
What a bet on yourself. That's pretty cool. Like, because that's what I was wondering. Was it like, was there a defining moment, or was it just like, oh, I'm plodding along? It's like, so there was,
that
like,
was the moment,
knew, but there was a moment.
Yeah, that changed my life forever. Right
wow. That's it. That's intense. I got a little like.
You gave up the scholarship.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, they paid him.
Yeah.
He was like, listen, I'm not coming back. So if you guys
got
can
his receipts.
you guys can just cash me out. I think that's how it works. Like, if you get a scholarship and you decide not to play, they just cash you out and kind of pay you the rest of the value.
Oh shit, man.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Taken that SNU offer.
You know,
that'd be awesome if it worked like that.
Of some stuff.
That'd be sick if it worked like that. You get a full ride to play like Division I football.
Yeah.
After a week, you're like, just cash me out.
Just,
like,
I'll take that $100,000.
we could do Zelle, Venmo, Cash App. Any of them are fine. PayPal. Bars of gold, Bitcoin. Any of it works. Popcorn machines. All right, Jack. What about you? Because Zonley, multidisciplined artist. You're very much the same way. You do a lot of visual arts and a lot of music and production as well. So tell me about, if someone asks you, what do you do? What do you tell them? And then what does each of your disciplines mean to you?
I'd say I am a videographer who owns his own production company, Backhouse Tapes. Check it out. Book today.
You guys are the creators of the original casting couch.
Exactly. Yep. I think
that was the inspiration for my set.
It was Miss Jennifer. Yeah. She did great. We
promised her a modeling gig. Never were able to deliver, but we got a great tape out of it.
We got some headshots. We got some
headshots, back shots, all of it.
A, B, C, you name it. And I'd say I'm a producer confidently.
Yes, you are
an artist. I've been doing music since I was 10 years old. Started with the drums.
So 2 years doing music.
Yeah. I just turned 12. That's right. I forgot. That's just that new memory. It's the second life.
Can you imagine if you were 12? You'd be like the #1 athletic recruit in every sport.
Oh, the fucking beard.
That's like bench warmers. I am 12.
That's like those kids that were like massive in middle school or something, and you'd hear all the parents would just be like, wonder how long they held him back.
Yeah. Like getting suspicious. Oh my gosh. Like, I remember in middle school and high school, the guy that played quarterback for our team, he was held back 2 years. And so now I don't know if that was a planned psyop to get our team really good. I mean,
I played against him. He was a fucking tank.
Yeah,
I remember him. He was
enormous. Yeah, he was. I remember in 8th grade during the student versus faculty just for fun game, he was throwing down windmill dunks. I was like, this guy is different. Like, my science teacher body checked me and I had to sit down. Yeah. He's throwing down dunks on the strength coach.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Some are built for it, man.
Built different.
Built for it. It's that McDonald's, dude. They put something in those nuggets.
So you have your production studio. Is that what you call production company, studio? What would the term?
It's called a company. It's a company.
Yeah,
I feel like a company is 2 or more people that collaborate together in making a product. I guess, it's it's not a gang. It's not, but it's a company. Yes,
but it could be a gang if
gang shit.
We do have a collective though.
That's
not
true.
Gang, but collective.
Yes, we do have a collective.
Yes,
which is Alive, ALIV, Artists Living Iconic Visions.
I'll never forget your little promo video you made for your art with Artists Living Iconic Vision. I was like, oh shit, that was awesome.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We're 2/3 here today. We're missing Boom.
Yeah, so Boom. Boom couldn't make it. He owns a restaurant. You guys do a bunch of cool shit. Like Boom owns a restaurant, and makes music. You paint, tattoo, sculpture, make music, would you call? Not video productions, but I know you've directed videos. Would you call it that before? Yeah.
I think it's just all artists. Every single one of us, even you know what I'm saying? We all full spectrum. We are artists. We are creatives, and that you could direct, you could sing, you could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because we
Yeah.
have that mindset flicked in there.
Right.
You know?
We had those
We have that
visions
gift. We have that gift
to bring
man.
it to life. Like
We're
you,
artists living.
you
that
saw
kind of
all
thing.
this in your head at one point. You're like, damn, I
Totally.
want to do a podcast.
That's true.
I could see
So you're a
Cody Troutman
visionary.
spray painted, boom, boom, and you make it happen. You know, that's what makes people an artist.
Yes.
You know, just bringing those visions to life.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the music you guys made, like Alive, the group that you guys are working on right now. I remember, like when I first heard it, I knew it was so good, and I played it for a couple friends, Paige and Deanna. You guys know them, and I didn't tell them like it was like, oh, you know, Jack and Zonley and Boom made this new stuff. I was just
Right.
like, listen to this new song, and they were like, oh, damn, this shit is good,
Yeah,
and
hell
like
yeah.
that's how you know. Like if you say like, hey, I made this, will you give it a like you
It
never
puts
know.
that pre-opinion already.
Yeah,
like, oh, I know them. Let me
Yes,
really judge them
yeah.
and think what.
Let me not be
or for
rude.
being
Yeah,
not-
yeah,
yes.
or not be rude. Yeah.
That's what most often, like if you know, like people listen to my podcast or that watch my YouTube videos or my stand-up, it's always hard to know how good it really is, because even if they're not trying, they're just gonna be nice as a friend. But like if like that moment I was able to play some of you guys' music, like Gather, oh, I love that song.
Solid.
Like play that song for them, and they were like, "Oh, who is this? This is new." And I was like, "Let me tell you, that's
Yeah,
me." No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Which a fun fact is our buddy Thunder Jackson co-produced that album
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he did a lot of the production on there, which was fun. You know,
But so what I want to do is I want to hear more about some memorable moments throughout you guys' journey. Kind of talk about different things that maybe you experienced that you didn't expect to experience, and then at the end of it, for our serious topic of the day, I want to get into more of the, there's like a story of what happened, but then there's how you felt about it and like why you felt that way. So at the end, I want to get into those last two things. So I think, but to build up to that, I want to hear more about certain moments from each of you guys' careers. But before that, I want to know, you talked about your creative projects you're currently working on. Have either of you ever worked like a quote unquote regular job? And I'm sure like, it's a job working on the artistic projects you work on, but you set your own hours and you're making stuff.
Yeah.
But have you ever worked, like a normal ass job?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I grew up a paper boy, throwing newspapers, delivering newspapers. I still do it to this day sometimes.
Oh, nice.
Because my family owns the El Reno newspaper, and so
Oh,
since
hell
I
yeah.
was 14 years old, they're like, "Yo, you're going to work," and I was like, "Well, yeah, okay. Like, I'll make some money, get my hands dirty," and that doing that, I learned a lot like about business and hanging out, learning from family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like this is not what I meant to do.
Yeah.
Like that 9 to 5.
That's
like
what I was going to ask,
clocking
if that
in,
affected you.
that just wasn't. I just knew there was something inside saying like, do this, pay your dues, know that you're not better, you're not above this,
Mm-hmm.
but stick
that's a good point.
stick to your your path that that is in your heart and in your mind, and just do the things that you have to do to get there.
I call that the domino effect, right? So it's like each domino affects each other, right? So you got to click the first one to hit number 3 and 5 and 10, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, even though we know we're not meant for 1 through 5, we had to do 1 through 5 to get to 7.
That's a great
Yeah.
point, because I think a lot of times, and I've even fallen into this trap, it's easy to see like, oh, I want to be doing this, abstract thing in the future. And so it's like with this podcast, it's like, oh, I want to be making this podcast, but then like building the set and learning the audio engineering and the video and the editing and the research and stuff. It's like, that stuff's not really fun. But if all I wanted to do was like make the podcast, and I wasn't willing to knock down those dominoes of
Totally.
learning how they're
Yeah.
produced and promoted and marketed and actually built, then I'm never going to get to, the 10th domino of what I really want to be
Absolutely.
doing. And
Right.
I think it's easy for people to fall into that trap. I fall into it all the time. Like the stand-up comedy. It's like I perform all the time, and I want to be, performing for crowds that are paying to see
You're a funny
me.
guy.
You're a funny guy.
But, like the tough part of that is like, you got to spend hours writing shit that sucks, and you got to
Right.
perform for
Yeah.
nobody,
Mhm.
and bomb like. I perform like an average of like 3 to 4 times per week, and I would say
Damn.
like most of them go pretty bad, but that's part of it. You just rewrite and
Totally.
try
Knock it
again.
out. You did.
And but I still get caught up in that mindset of like, man, this really sucks. Like nobody's laughing. I feel stupid.
Right.
Like, and
You're
it's like,
conditioning yourself though.
yeah, it's like you got to build up that discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you ever worked like what you would call like?
Y'all are gonna love this, man.
Yeah.
So my first job, I was a Chick-Fil-A cow.
No way.
Yes. So my mom used to be the marketing director for Chick-Fil-A back in California.
Oh,
and
shit.
so she's
You guys get free chicken all the time? Or?
Yeah. So
Fuck
well,
yeah.
I had
actually,
Chick-fil-A today.
Oh, I thought about
dude.
it. Man.
we used to eat Chick-fil-A almost every day because she was so damn good at her job that, you know, she went to her boss and was like, I need a raise. I'm putting in all these hours. And he's like, well, I can't pay you in money, but I can pay you in chicken. Right. So we got free Chick-fil-A. So like our whole fam, that was like one of the perks of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, she needed a Chick-fil-A cow. She needed someone to get in the costume and go out on the corner and dance. And that was me. So,
So you wore it like it just outside the drive-through. That was you in the costume. Just I don't quite remember is there a mask or was your face out?
I mean, dude, it looked like I was like 6'6" inside that. And for people that are watching, I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day.
Standing on his wallet, he's 7'1".
Yeah.
Right, don't play.
Give me those
But yeah, man, so I
shoes.
used to get in there. I had a whole entire ice pack suit that I would wear like underneath because it's so hot. I mean, it's like 100 degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Think of that. That's
There's
true.
like a little fan
How
in the top of the
many-
Chick-fil-A
There's a
head.
fan?
There's a fan. It didn't work. And there was
How many casualties a year are there from,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A cow dancers?
People overheating in the cow suit.
Yeah, viewers, let's ask you. We're going to take a poll at the end of this.
Now they won't kill a cow for the menu, but they'll kill somebody in the cow suit.
yeah.
Right.
It's
Right.
just-
Eat more chicken.
So
Or
yeah,
human.
man, they worked me hard. I'd go out there and I'd dance on the corner. I'd come in dripping sweat, man. And then I'd take a break, get like 15-minute break, get some food, go right back out.
Oh my! How long did you do that for?
A couple of years.
Whoa!
Yeah, but I mean, it was fun, honestly. I
yeah,
put in my
bet.
little headphones, and nobody knew who the hell I was.
I
in
bet you
there.
stayed in damn good shape, too.
Yeah, and I was just, it was like Zumba or whatever.
Was it? So I'm assuming like during the summers it sucked, but like during the winters, I mean, you're wearing the cow suit, staying warm,
Right,
you know?
not so bad in the wintertime.
But in the summer, I bet that was tough.
yes,
Yeah.
it was tough. It was hot.
Oh man, did you hold the sign or were you just like dancing
A
around?
little bit of both. Did the sign, did
Versatile.
the
You got-
dancing. I did a cheer competition once.
Oh yeah!
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
Yeah, there was like the big cheer, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like teams from like all over the city, or not all over the city, all over the state that came in from California.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, at one point they had me get up there on stage with these girls
In
and
the
I
ch-
was
in the cow suit?
in the cow suit,
Oh,
and I'm
yes.
dancing on stage. Like, yeah, man. So I had my run. That was my first real job.
That's awesome. And I mean, it sounds like it actually wasn't that bad, but like working stuff like that, were you thinking to yourself like, all right, there's something else I would rather be doing?
Oh, totally. When
Or
those
you just
little
like,
kid-
I'm being the cow for life, baby. This is me.
You're like,
This
I
is
wish I
me.
was still. I got
Johnny
fired.
Lumen,
I'm trying
cow
to get
dancer.
back there.
Yeah, right. No, I was happy to move on when I moved on from the cow. I worked construction for a little bit with my dad.
Yeah.
And then I detailed cars. That was like my other main gig,
Oh,
was
yeah.
detailing
Nice.
cars. And there was the last car that I detailed was a Jeep Wrangler, and it was covered in Oklahoma red dirt mud.
Oh, man.
And it had dog hair in it, and it
Oh,
took me
no.
it took me 2.5 days to clean.
Oh
Holy
my
shit.
gosh.
And you guys, I mean, we was getting paid $45 for a whole car,
Damn.
right? So I spent.
Where is that? I need to go there.
Right, I called my dad, bro. I had to call my dad. Okay, and this was the turning point. I called my dad, and he came up there, and he was helping me clean this car. And we got done with it, and he just looked at me, and he was like, "Zonley, you need to choose right now.
Oh shit.
You need to choose whether you want to work manual labor or you want to be an artist."
Whoa.
And it just hit me. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not cleaning cars anymore, man."
Yeah.
That's dope, though.
That is pretty cool.
You
Like
know?
it sounds like that's like I was talking to you guys a while back about my dad kind of having a moment like that where it's like sometimes you're so in the present, especially like manual labor, like you're working hard and you're so tired, you don't have a lot of time to think about where is this leading. So like your
Right.
dad's shaking you like, hey, you need to decide, are you going to be doing this forever? Or are you going to pursue this artistic dream you
Totally.
have? That was when it.
That was because at that point I was tattooing a little bit, I
Yeah.
would detail cars and I would go tattoo a little bit, but that was the thing. He was like, you going to be an artist or you going to be a manual laborer?
Oh shit. And so you had to really choose like, all right, I'm going, full force.
Yeah.
So was tattooing the thing that like got you off the ground in terms of like building a business
Totally.
like artistically?
Totally. I mean, that's how we got like our first spot, it's like you had to come up with a security deposit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we need X amount of dollars, and so I was like, okay, well, I just tattooed like 5 days straight and just like, we got the security deposit ready to go. Boom, boom. And then, I mean, that was definitely tattoo carried my artistic dreams.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And you still do it to this day.
And I still do it to this day, but at this point it does not. It served its purpose, and I'm still serving my purpose because I get to tattoo people and help change their lives and do cool shit for them, you know what I'm saying?
The tattoo you did on Boom's chest, the third member of their Alive group, I got to see this in person.
Oh, that's right.
I got to see it. It's correct me if I'm describing it but it's basically like a giant. So Boom is from Thailand, and it's a giant head of an elephant across his chest, and the ears are basically butterfly wings.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that,
Sick.
and I was amazed because I've heard people, when they get a chest piece, it takes like 2 sessions of 4 hours, and you knocked that out in like 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was just under 2 hours. Yeah,
it's quick, steady hander Z.
Yeah, that was
Steady
amazing.
Z.
I remember the funniest part was that first Boom's girlfriend, it's not whatever. Muse at the time, she went first and she got a neck tattoo.
Yeah.
And I remember you were prepping her like, hey, this is going to hurt really bad. This is going to be tough. And she just laid there and took it.
Dude,
and
that's one of the toughest clients that I have, bro. She is she is a badass.
I remember after you tattooed her neck and she just got him, she was like, yeah, you're like, you are one tough bitch.
Yeah. I might not have said the B word, but maybe I did. Either way, she accepted it the right way. Dude, she is very tough, girl. Meadow, shout out to you right now. So,
but I remember that Boom went second, and he told me later how bad it was hurting, but because Meadow had been so tough, he was like,
oh yeah, dude, no. I gave him some sunglasses, and so Boom's just laying there, straight face,
tears falling down the side, but you can't see him.
I'm like, dude, does this hurt? And he's like, fuck yeah, dude.
I remember he was really trying to hold it together.
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me that. She's looking.
Bro, shut the hell up. Hey, Meadow, it'd be great is if you ran like an errand that took like 2 hours and then came back. That'd be like crazy nice if you did that for me.
There's a Chick-Fil-A down the road.
You know that guy in the cow costume? Jack, what about you? Was there a moment like, what was it? Because like you said, you do a lot of things now. You've been making music since you were 10. Was that the thing that catapulted you into the artistic career? What was the moment where it went from like a hobby to like, I'm doing this shit?
Man, it's always been like, I think just growing up, and like my dad was very big into rock and roll. He got me introduced to like, Bruce Springsteen, all these big like rock and roll icons. And I just watched them and watched these videos, and I was like, damn, I want to do that. Like, that is the coolest thing in the world to me.
Like creating those visuals?
Well, more so just being that guy.
Oh,
like I want to make music and move like hundreds of people, give them feelings, make them feel something, because it makes me feel something. So it's like, wouldn't it be cool to like share that feeling with hundreds, thousands of people? Like, that would be awesome. And be
the one who's creating that feeling for all of them. That would be great.
But no, dude, like it took a while because, life comes at you fast. Like growing up, it was all music until high school, and then sports come into play, and then it was all football, and then then it was all girls, and then it starts to transfer, and then it became all God. And like I was working at a church camp every summer for 6-7 years.
Damn.
And then it became all medical, because I started dating this girl in my early 20s, and she was really pushing me, like kind of like, you're not going to do anything with music, like like there's like a
been there,
there's like a bajillion% chance that this could ever happen, like you got to start thinking about your future, blah blah blah, go to college. And so I was like, you know what, all right, you're right. Like, I still wanted to do it, I still wanted to make music, but I was like, maybe it could just be a hobby. And And so I decided I wanted to be a firefighter. So I went to EMT school and
Damn.
like got my EMT license, worked in a hospital for 2 years.
So if I started like having a heart attack or choking on something right now, you could.
Yeah, I'll call 911. No problem.
Wow, they trained you to hit all three buttons.
All three, and call.
And call.
So, yeah, 4.
Wow.
I know it gets tricky.
That is worth it.
But it was a big moment for me. Would have to be so. I remember I was in the shower, and I had been with this girl for about a year and a half.
Were you in the shower after you took a shit? Was that?
Yeah, SS&S, bro. Shit, shave, shower.
Yeah. Zonley was telling us earlier that like whenever he takes a shit, to make sure he's super clean, he showers afterwards. So that's why I was making that joke.
I like to stay clean.
Yeah, you gotta stay clean.
We're definitely cutting that part out, Cody.
Hey, they talked about poop in the other episodes. It's all good.
Oh, it gets bad. But so you're in the shower, you're having a the shower. Sometimes you start thinking deep in the shower.
Is my spot.
Like sometimes I'll get in there and I'll want to do something afterwards, and I'll be like, okay, I got to get in here and like shower quick because I want to do something. 20 minutes later, I'm just like, I haven't even started. I'm just thinking.
Right. Yeah.
You sitting down or standing in the shower?
I'm standing up.
I like to sit down in the shower.
If I had a spot to sit down, I would, because that sounds really nice. That does sound
You
nice.
just can't scrape your ass on the drain, man. That's dangerous.
Ooh, that would be tough.
Yeah,
that would be tough. Yeah, if I had like I've seen showers and stuff, or like maybe like a bathtub shower, you can sit on the edge or something, or they have like a ledge in there. Like my sister's shower has like a little ledge on it. I'd be sitting there like, oh yeah. But mine isn't built like that. But so you're in the shower. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. I'm in. It's your show, dude. I'm just a guest.
Speaking of which, let's
cut to. This is brought to you by Manscaping.
And Axe.
Yeah, and I was in the shower, and I was sitting there just having this feeling of just my gut just being in a knot of just like unhappiness, and I just didn't know where it was coming from, and I was just sitting there, and I just started crying. I started praying. I was like, God, like, if there's one thing, I just want to do something in music. I know my life is meant to be in music and in the arts, and however you can lead me down that path, let it be done. Let your will be done. And the next day, got a call. Homegirl was seeing someone else for a couple months. News to me, and I was like,
shit.
Okay, well, that's done. That sucks. I feel like a big dumb idiot, but for not seeing it. And it
was while you were together.
Yeah.
She was cheating on you? She's cheating on my boy.
I got a good track record for that.
That makes me mad.
But
I get defensive.
Don't nobody, everybody listen at home. Don't cheat. Just talk it out.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling that feeling of
or
like
just
wanting
break
to be
up.
with someone, just break up.
Yeah.
If you're gonna cheat, just break up.
Yeah, it's
dude, that makes me so mad because you're one of the most
better.
Genuine, caring, authentic people. You never put on a front. You never like that. You never mislead anybody. You're always shooting straight. Like that makes me so mad that somebody would do that.
I try. Hey, this ain't a pity party. We're past that.
Yeah.
If that be. But yeah. And so once that hit me, it was like, well, I don't really love doing this medical stuff. Like I just was really doing it because I was head over heels for this chick, and she was pushing me that way, and like I did enjoy it because I love helping people, and at the end of the day, I was just like, I love to help people, but not in this manner.
Yeah, you gotta help them a different way.
Exactly, I got to find a different way to help them, and that's whenever everything was just like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it for real, and it's once you start to really pursue the things in your heart and your dreams, that's when the dominoes start falling into place. And then before you know it, I'm selling beats, and
nice.
Thunder Jackson Kyle, he moves back from LA, and he's like, yo, I want you to be my tour manager. So we go on the road for all of 2018 and 2019, traveling the entire country, playing music, making money, and just living our best lives. And it was just like, all right, I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it feels good.
I heard about the parties. They were definitely living their best life.
Oh my God.
There's one, and you can tell the story later if you feel up to it, but the one where you guys were doing, it was like when everything was still locked down, but you still wanted to make music, so you did, and you went and did the shows for nobody. Like that's a cool concept in itself. Like
no show, road show.
Yeah, the no show where you would just play music to nobody. Like that's kind of a cool. But you said that those were like some Crazy times.
Denver, Colorado. Fucking love you. I lost 5 years of my life there, but guess what? I don't regret it.
That's 5 years I never lived.
Yeah, exactly.
So now that we kind of know what you guys are about, what you're pursuing, what you're working on, I want to ask this. As I haven't done it to the extent that you guys have, but as someone that's kind of pursuing a creative career, you know, with the YouTube videos, the podcast, the stand-up, I found myself in some bizarre situations that if I was working like a 9-to-5 office job, I probably wouldn't have. What's a situation, whether it be like a bizarre situation, a funny story, like a crazy interaction you've had that you've ended up in simply because of you pursuing something creative? And I'll go first. You can kind of get the vibe of what I'm talking about. And I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story, but it was back when I was making the vlogs. I went out to Club 115 one night. It was when Boom was working there, and he was like the bouncer, so we could get in.
The dread era Boom.
Yeah, like he had those dreadlocks down past his
Boom.
shoulders, wearing the suits. And so we went to the club, and I had my camera, and I think maybe it's because like the party atmosphere, the alcohol's flowing. Like when you bring the camera in there, people just start going
Animals.
like crazy.
Insane.
Like this isn't the story, but like so many girls have come up to me and just tapped me on the shoulder, and I turn around, they're like, "Is it going?"
Yeah.
They just pull their titties out. And you're like, "What the fuck?" And they're like,
With
"Okay,
great
bye."
power comes great responsibility.
And some of them, it would be like, some of them were like girls that I was acquaintances with. I didn't
Right.
know that well. And then the next day, you know, I'd get a message on Instagram like, hey, don't use that footage. I'm like, I know. Where would I put it?
YouTube will flag me.
Yeah, it's like I don't know why you did it in the first place. You know, and so like just weird stuff like that would happen. But one of the weirdest was we were walking out of the club one night, and there's like a commotion, and I look, and it's these two, and like I'm trying to, without sounding bad, the sounds of the voices, I thought it was going to be like two big black girls. No, it was two white girls that were trying to talk ghetto.
Oh,
Have you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about? Like the white, like,
That's
I'm gonna beat your ass. It's like they're clearly trying to put on a front and
Right.
act a way that they're not really. And I say they're trying to have a fight because based on the technique they were using, it was clear they were not capable of doing much damage.
Right.
Like,
they were doing Taekwondo Y.
Yeah. It was
why are you doing that?
hilarious. And so they were trying to have a fight, but it was mostly just like they kind of had a hold of each other's hair and were spinning in circles. And so once they finally got separated, I had the camera and I was like kind of filming, and they see the camera and I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna get pissed. No, they start doing like it's like an interview. They just start going. They're like, this bitch did it. Like they just start going off on each other to the camera.
Testimony.
And I was like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Why were you fighting?
Confession cam.
And so this one girl, so one girl's friends drag her away, and she's like screaming, and we can't really hear, but the other girl stays, and she's like, 3 inches from the camera, like, spitting all over it. She's out of her mind, and she's talking about, she's like, this bitch does not know what's coming to her. I was like, what'd she do? What'd she do? She said, what'd she do? I'll tell you what she does. Like, what'd she do? You don't even want to know. I was like, no, I do want to know. She's like, hey, you don't even want to know. I was like, what'd she do? She said, I'm gonna put it to you like this. And talking like this is like a 5'3" white girl. She's like, I'm gonna put it to you like this. On my mama. Nah. I was like, on your mama. She's like, on my, and this is what she said word for word. She said, on my mama's left titty. On my mama's left titty, this bitch had it coming. And I was like, what?
Why the left?
And that's what I said. I said, what about the right titty?
Yeah.
She said, the left one always bigger.
She's got a point.
I was like, and I said, so I was like, really? So on your mother's leftmost bosom, this woman deserved what you were doing to her. She said, I'd do it again. And then she walked away. I never got her name. Have never seen her again since. It was just one of those like freak scenarios.
You still got the footage?
Oh, I still have the footage.
That'd be a good TikTok.
Go ahead, roll footage.
Yeah. Like that, yeah, roll the footage.
Yeah.
Cut. So funny. I'll have to. It's on my drive of like unused vlog footage. I'll show it to you guys after done record. It's so funny. If I can find it, I'll put it somewhere because it was so bizarre. But like so that like. And that would have never happened if I wasn't trying to film with the camera. Like, if I had seen that situation normally, I would have been like, oh, turn the other way.
Right,
But something about having the camera not only were they more receptive to the craziness, but I was more likely to get in there. Like, hey, what's going on? You know,
Your
like
inner paparazzi came out.
Now, if it had been like two huge dudes in an actual fight, I probably would have steered clear. Like, you never know.
They would have broken your camera.
Exactly. It was two, I hate that the stereotype, which it was two very small women who were clearly inexperienced with violence.
Yes. A lot of anger in those little bodies, man.
So I felt very comfortable approaching and knowing that I was not, my physical safety was not threatened.
Yeah.
And then like, now if they had been like, get the fuck out of here, that's one thing. But no, they were all about it. They were like, let me get my camera time, And so what have you guys ever been, not in a situation like that, because I don't know if anybody's been in a situation like that, but just a situation where something was bizarre about your surroundings because of whether indirectly or directly related to like your artistic career, but a situation you wouldn't end up in if you were just like doing some normal shit.
You got one, or I go first?
That's every day. Honestly, I'm sitting here trying to go through the bank.
I got one on the top of my memory bank.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to use any names because
no, that's fine.
But I tattooed these two dudes' butt cheeks once.
No way.
Yeah, this is a classic story. Anybody that like
you said you wouldn't tell.
I know, yeah, right. Anybody that asked me like, "Oh, you got any good tattoo stories?" This is definitely in the top 3.
So it was two dudes you were tattooing each of their butt cheeks?
Yes.
Were they matching?
In a sense, it was like a. It was like a complete sentence, right? So they're like, hilarious. They showed up and they're like, hey, want you to tattoo our butt cheeks. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay,
I'm with it. That's another thing. Like, as a tattoo artist or an artist, like, I'm sure you get strange requests. You kind of just got to go with.
Yeah, I mean,
if they're paying,
there's and this is it's the domino thing, right? You gotta tattoo some butt cheeks to get some chest piece.
Exactly. You can't tattoo like the beautiful elephant with butterfly wing ears until you tattoo like the two dudes.
Right. A third butthole. A third.
So anyways, they come in and okay, this is what we want. So one of them wanted best and the other one wanted friends. Okay. And so they're like,
were these like two drunk frat dudes?
No, they're completely sober. They're just like really best friends.
Wow.
Right? So yeah, I do believe they were in a frat. I'll just say that.
That is a fraternity type
checks
thing.
out. All the box checks.
Right, yeah. To my knowledge, they were not drunk. But so I did. One of the guys got best, the other one got friends in like this nice like cursive font.
Oh,
right?
That's hilarious.
And so I got done and they're like, okay, cool. You take a picture. I'm just like, yeah, like, sure, man. Sure. I mean, it's complete. You gotta take a picture. And so they just like pulled their, pants kind of somewhat down, just like threw their hips together, and it was pretty funny though. That's a good one.
Oh, that's really funny. Dude. It sounds like at least they were owning it. They were
dude, no, totally,
super all about it.
totally owned it. Totally.
I think if you do something like that, you gotta fully own it.
Oh yeah, totally. I seen one of the guys just a few months ago, and I was at like a live painting event.
Yeah.
It's like super serious setting or whatever. And he's like, "You tattooed my butt, dude."
How's your ass, man?
You got that connection with people. So
I think I'd rather be the guy that has the one that says best.
He had best.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Someone sees that and they're like, "Why does your ass say friend?" Like, what if it's a friend
with an S?
Oh,
friends.
Okay.
And after the S is a little arrow pointing towards the hole, like friends this way.
But best, you
got the best ass.
What's up?
That does set a standard though, because if he has best on his ass cheek, he's got to be in the gym like hitting the squats.
Right, I got the best left ass cheek in the state
for life.
He can't be letting his shit get flat or saggy.
It would have been his right butt cheek though.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because if they stood together, so this is right butt cheek.
So he's got to just get it flexed.
Those one-legged lunges.
Air squats.
Air squat.
That's really funny. Jack, what about you? Has there been maybe like a time on tour even, or like maybe working on a video that went weird?
I'll give you a tale from the tour bus.
Oh,
so
this is like from the bang bus.
TCFB.
No, so obviously, we're an independent band with an independent label and everything. So everything is we don't have like drivers or anything or these big elaborate buses. So like I had to go and rent an RV, and I drove every like 6,000 miles.
Oh my gosh. You did all the driving?
Yeah, I wasn't going to let any of those fuckers drive,
that's true.
dude.
In the snow? You drove through the snow, didn't you?
Through the mountains of Vermont, dude. We all definitely almost died. 100%.
I was just about, is it hard to drive those things?
Oh,
hell
I
yeah.
mean, you get used to it, and then you just feel like, I'm the king of the road. Like, fucking move. People move when you put your blinker on.
Hell yeah.
But, no, it's this one time we were in Missouri, and I think it was Springfield, and there was, it was like a little college town, and we went to this, it was like a small venue, but we had just like...
Was this on the first tour from like 2018, 2019?
Yeah,
okay, gotcha. So this is like early days.
Yeah, this is early TJ, man. And we go and we play the show. We fucking did a great job, killed it. Everybody's like, here, like, shots on us, drinks. Like,
you guys do put on a good show.
Dude,
like, not only is the music good, the show is like very high energy,
full
elaborate.
performance.
It's a full. That's
Full
the perfect way to
performance.
put it.
You know, that thunder, man. He knows how to shake it.
And you're up there. You're on stage too. You're doing your thing. I see you. I see you. Every time when I'm in the crowd, if I see you look up, I always try to point at you.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you ever see it.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. I see it. I give the head nod.
Oh yeah.
Big finger point.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we had just finished it, and we were parked. So like there's only street parking.
Okay.
And we had this 26-foot long RV.
Oh shit, yeah.
And we had to park it in a parking lot. So I went there like, all right, Jack, go get the RV, pull it up to the curb. We're going to make a space here, and we'll load up. And so I go and I get the RV, and I had to parallel park this bitch.
Oh.
And behind...
That's tough in a Prius.
Yeah, it is. You're telling me. We didn't even have to do the parallel parking whenever...
Not on my test.
Not on my test.
I
They
don't
skipped
parallel
it
park.
that year.
I don't
They
parallel
skipped
park.
it that year in Oklahoma.
I had to do it, and I did amazing on the rest of it, and I tanked the parallel parking, and I almost didn't get my license. I think you got to get like a 75 to pass, and I got like a 77.
Yeah.
I was like,
Ooh,
man.
yikes. Made it. Squeezed it by,
Yeah.
literally.
My sister is the worst driver ever, and she got like a 96 on hers. Like, aced her driver's test.
Bad driver, good at taking tests.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not. So, you guys pulled in the driveway earlier. So, when we put our trash cans out, sometimes when they, like, you know, the trash truck picks them up and puts them back down, sometimes they'll put them down too close and you can't fit your car between them.
Right.
And one time my sister was running late for something, and it was after the trash people had come, but before I'd wheeled them in. And so they're still out there and they're too close. So it's like, oh, you're like, ah, shit. You move them and get back in your car. It takes like an extra 45 seconds. Well, she leaves. I get a call like a minute later, and she's like, hey, I was in a hurry. The trash cans, they're down. I was like, what? I go out there. She must have been driving 40 up the driveway because she rammed the trash cans all the way there. One of them is like 40 feet down the street. I was like, what did you do? I called her. I was like, she's like, they were in my way, and I didn't know if they were full or not, so I had to rev the engine just in case there was some weight resistance. She's like, so I battering rammed them.
Sounds like Jesse, man.
It does.
See a roadblock, power right through.
Yeah, she's
So were they empty or
dynamite.
full?
Luckily, they were empty. The trash
Nice.
guy had came, and I kind of had a feeling they were empty because I was like, I wouldn't wheel them out and put them too close together.
Right.
So I had. I was
Right.
like, okay, I bet the guy came, and that's how they got sat
Yeah.
close. So I was. Luckily, there was no trash everywhere, but it was hilarious that she had just like, because I could totally see her getting up there, sitting, looking at him like, okay, put it in gear, bam. But so you parallel park in this RV.
So I parallel parked it, get it parked, and we're starting to load the gear in, and we get it all loaded up, and everyone's like, all right, we got to move it because like you can't park here for so long. There's like, it's Saturday night and there's cops out and they'll give you tickets.
Oh damn!
And yeah, there's fucking Missouri, dude. No. So I'm starting to back up, and I got my windows down, and like I said, may or may not have had a couple tequila shots. I do not condone drinking and driving.
You're like, I just got to move it 40 feet.
But
You were driving, you're just parking.
yeah, I was just parking it.
Officer, I'm
We
drinking
were gonna
and
stay in a
parking.
Walmart parking lot that night, anyways. It was all good.
Yeah.
No. So I start to back up, and I got the windows down, and this had a camera dash on it.
Like
for
a
backup
rear
cam.
view. Yeah.
And honestly, like I drive a 2010 Honda, and I've never had a backup so I don't look at it. Like, I just use my mirrors, old fashioned, old school from El Reno. You know, we got trucks. We look at our mirrors.
You guys are riding horses.
Yeah, hell yeah. But,
instead of a beat backing up, it's like,
yeah. Oh, how do you stop it? You just get your finger, put it right in that plug, and it stops. So I'm backing up, and out of nowhere, there's like all these college kids on the other side of the street. And they're like, yeah, hit the cop car.
No,
and like,
shit.
and I couldn't hear them. And I thought they were just like, yeah, fuck yeah. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And I'm driving up. And then the other mirror, I see Kyle. And he's like, fucking stop. Fucking stop. And then before it was too late, it was just, and I look back in the little mirror and I just fucking rear-ended a cop. I just put the RV on its hood. And I fucking was like, holy shit, put it in drive, pull up like 5 parking spots ahead. And I kid you not, these cops come out and they just walked up to the tour bus and they're like, what's going on here, guys? And we're like, oh, we were just loading up. We're about to leave. We just played a show. And they're kind of looking around like a little suspicious. Like if they wanted to like check out, you know, the bus or something, which we didn't have any drugs or anything.
Have they seen their car yet?
No, they hadn't seen the car.
seen the
But
car?
luckily, there was no damage to the cop car. There might have been a little scratch, but like nothing, like
But it's
no
dark
dent.
out,
It's
so-
dark out Saturday night, and like I'm sitting there talking to them, and I'm a little intoxicated,
just hit their
and I
car.
just hit their car, so my heart's going about 180, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting ready to leave. And they're looking at me all suspicious. And out of nowhere, dude, like it was from Superbad. These 2 cute girls walk by and they're like, officers, like, do you know where this bar is? Blah, blah, blah. And they just turn and start looking at her like, actually, we do. And then like, come with us. And like the girls walk away with the cops. And I was like, everybody get the fuck on the bus. We're going. We're fucking going. Yeah. And we
That is
left.
awesome.
And
What perfect timing.
Oh yeah, dude. It was
Horny cops, you can count on them every time.
Every time. That's why they're called pigs,
hot
baby.
girls.
Horny cops and hot chicks.
Like, officer, is that 2 hot chicks?
Yeah.
What? Where?
What? Yeah. I mean, it was funny.
So you guys could have gotten real trouble.
Oh, dude, I could have went to jail. And like Kyle was like, usually it's like the artist getting bailed out of jail, not the fucking manager.
I can see him saying that too. Oh my gosh.
That was a fun one.
Dude, that's great.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
It really does.
Hey, man, we're going to get these memoirs and make a movie.
I was about to say, we might need to make a short film out of that.
That would be
for sure.
hilarious. It
For
would be
sure.
fun to like combine a bunch of like years from now we get a bunch of good stories together and we weave them into like a single narrative
Right.
of just like an adventure gone
yeah.
wrong,
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like a buddy
Yeah.
film. Like that would be really funny.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that would be
You heard
great.
it here first on the Cody TroutPod.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cody Trout Pod.
Word to your mother.
That'd be awesome if Dale added that at the end. Zonley, you kind of gave an example that might qualify as one, but maybe there was one that, because that one was a funny one, like tattooing the guy's asses. Have you ever had like a client experience or like a commission or a job that it ended up just being like a nightmare? Because I remember, so this is a less of a creative thing and more of like a business thing. I used to build websites for small businesses, and like to grow our business, we thought, oh, like if we get some good publicity, like get our name out there, like in a like positive way, it would help. So we put out this thing. It's like, all right, if your company's nonprofit, we will build your website at cost and then we'll service it for free. Because like to make adjustments to the website, like it takes a lot of time, and so that would be paid for our time usually. But we're like, we'll do this, and we had only one person that took us up on it, but it was and still is to this day the worst experience I've ever had in business ever. Like this lady, for her little nonprofit that she ran, like she was retired and she just ran a nonprofit with her friend for fun. And like it was basically just like an excuse for like older retired women to kind of meet and socialize. They had this kind of
I've
space.
seen Ozarks. I know they're laundering some shit through there.
But she wanted the most complex, robust website ever, and then requested updates, changes,
It's always the
adjustments
free
on
clients, dude.
It
It's
is.
always the free
Always
clients.
the free client.
And I remember I was like, and I remember after a month, even though she was our only one, I told my business partner, who's my best friend, his name's Cade, I was like, we got to cancel this. Like, this is awful. Like, we're gonna go bankrupt. I can't even work on our paid client stuff. Like this is awful. And she had no shame. She would call me late at night on weekends. Bombard me with texts if I
Maybe
didn't.
she just wanted you, bro.
No, she
wanted the sight.
She definitely did not like me. It was. I remember. I would show, and I had to be like, all right, it's not her fault. Like, you offered her this free shit. It's not her fault that she is getting the most out of this deal. So have a good attitude. You learned your lesson. You're going to keep learning it. But I remember she made me learn that lesson. That was brutal.
Damn.
Yeah.
And to this day, because she's using a different website host now, but there's still like different little pieces of her website from that we made that she uses. And to this day, she'll still call me to try to edit those. I'm like, it's been years. Like, because that was when I was 20. So that was 6 years ago.
Yeah,
and
not
she'll
like
still,
a grandson. Like, find little Timmy to do that.
I was like, damn. So have you guys ever had, you said it was like, and I think that's true. Like when you're giving somebody something for free, like when somebody knows the value of something, it's like, I'm paying all this money for this. Like maybe they understand, but like if, you do it for free, I think they're a little more likely to take advantage of it. So have you guys ever had like a bad client or commission experience?
Yeah. I could think of one off the top of my head. I haven't recently, actually. So
yeah. You're I filmed this intro for this guy's podcast,
dude,
and let me tell you,
huge douche.
This guy, I've never made so many edits in my life. No, dude, it was actually with recording. So out of nowhere, a few months ago, I had this new neighbors moving the house next door.
Oh, shit.
And
at the house you're in now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I was like outside playing guitar, and the neighbor came over, and he was like from Kansas, just kind of, from Kansas. And and he was like, hey man, like you do music, like blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, dude. And he was like, well shoot, man, like I'm entering this contest, and like I gotta record like just 6 seconds of this vocal take. And, I don't have any way to do it. Is there any way that, I could come over and maybe record it, whatever? And I was like, yeah, man, no problem.
You're thinking 6 seconds. I
I was like, this should be nothing.
6.
Yeah. So 6 hours later. Yeah. So this dude comes up and he's like, all right, so this is what it is. It's a contest to have the most screamo singers on this one continuous song that is 66 minutes and 66 seconds.
Oh,
and shit. I'm a very religious, spiritual person.
Yeah, that's bad energy.
I don't really dig with that stuff, man. And I was just kind of like, okay. And he's like, I've never recorded before, so bear with me. I'm sitting there putting my nice face on, like, all right,
6
man.
seconds.
Yeah,
I never recorded before.
Yeah. And so
he brings the team to the studio.
It was hype man. Yeah, no joke. That's what it felt like.
Oh my God.
We had to go through, like, he's like, all right, it's at like 45 minutes and 21.3 seconds. We're gonna go there. And he goes in and he puts his headphones on. At first he's like, I don't know how to do it with these headphones. And it's like, yeah, dude, just like take one ear off, you can kind of hear yourself. And
it's crazy, like your ears and your mouth are connected.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm talking with these headphones on right now.
Right. And
you're like a superhero.
Yeah. This country dude just out of nowhere just started going,
oh my
and I was just like, what the actual fuck? And that was it, just for like 10 seconds of the clip. And then he'd be like, okay, can we hear it back? And I'm like, sure, man. And we play it back, and then it was like I had it all dry, no effects or anything. And he's just like, oh, I don't know if I like that, let me do another one. And I was like, well, let me put some effects and like EQ. He's like, well, no, it's got to be dry, man, like because they're gonna mix it. And I was like,
my god,
all right, man. And so he's just and I was just like, caught in a loop. And he just kept doing it. And by the time afterwards, I was like, dude, I think they're gonna love like whatever you put into this. Like, it's only 6 seconds
of an hour plus long song.
Yes, he's like, well, it's going in the Guinness World Book of Records. Like, it might get 30,000 plays on Facebook, like the last one did. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm glad I could help you. But get the fuck out.
Yeah. And he's only in it for 6 seconds. What do you think's gonna happen? Like,
yeah, I don't know, man.
Gene Simmons from Kiss is gonna call him like, "Hey, are you that guy at
40
45 minutes and 21 seconds? Was that you?" Shit.
You just got yourself a record deal. Yeah.
Listen, I had a band called Kiss. I'm thinking you could be the front man for my new project, Hug.
It's a little harder.
It's a little more aggressive, and you got just the style we need.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really funny. And I'm assuming because you thought like 6 seconds, you probably just like did it for free, like, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't like sitting there like, I wasn't about to charge this dude.
It's like that'll be $1.78.
Yeah, but it did end up taking longer, and I was just, by the end of it, I was like, I'm not gonna do that again. For you, buddy. I'm
and
sorry.
I need to go pray.
Yeah. I need to go
For real.
Need some
get
Palo Santo.
baptized or something. You know?
Oh, I remember I was at the lake with Paige one time, and her neighbor like had this gate code, and they were telling a different person the gate code, and we just overheard the conversation because they had to go get something from their house, and they were like, yeah, the gate code is 666, and the guy's like, why the hell is your gate code 666? He's like, oh, it was because we're the sixth house, and so like the people that set up the gate code, it's like 111 222 5.
Right.
He's like, you didn't change it? He's like, I am not entering that. He's like, I'm not touching them buttons. If you want me to go get that, you got to come to your house and put that. And he's like, I'm not going back to my. You're the one that wants the beer.
Yeah.
He's like, I am not doing it. And so he had some other random person that was there, like one of their friends, go with him. He's like, I am not touching the numbers in that sequence on that keypad. And so he touched and he came back. He's like, there is dark energy at that gate. He's like, I stepped into the zone of that keypad and I felt something. You know, like he was really serious about it.
I bought an extra Reese's peanut butter cup a couple months ago because I was at 7-Eleven and my total came out to 666. And
Really?
I said, I told her I won't pay that.
Yeah.
I wonder what I would do
like,
in that
this is
situation.
all the counters like here.
Hey man, I'm with you, dude. There's weird
Yeah,
energies.
it's weird
You know,
energy.
if you believe in angel numbers, there's demon numbers too, guys.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
right.
That's true.
But you know, there was actually a couple of months ago, I was going to a live painting, and I'm really big into numerology. Like I see numerology today. So far, I've seen 999. Right. Okay. Well, that's the flip of 666. Right.
So does that make it good, or is it still like a negative energy number?
You know, Dale's gonna freak out. You probably won't even watch this episode. Sorry, Dale. But there is not as much bad stuff. So like it's not just negative for 666,
Right.
even though that's
Yeah,
what everybody
I've
thinks,
heard
right?
that.
But
Okay.
like if you look it up, you know what I'm saying. There is some certain positivities to it,
Right.
because there was this one day I was going to an event and I saw it probably over 10 times. I saw it over 10 times in a matter of just like a few hours, right?
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah.
You know, I still prayed and moved on forward through it and everything. But, you know, I mean, they're out there. I think the signs are out there for everybody always.
For
but
sure.
you got to be able to interpret them the right way, you know?
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I mean, still, I don't really like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like that one. I'll take all the other ones. I don't really like that one. But
That's kind of like I guess I'm not as sensitive to like seeing numbers and things, but I guess it's kind of like with ghosts or like demon possession and stuff. Do I necessarily like believe in it? No, but am I going to tempt a ghost or demon? Absolutely not. Like if some place is haunted, I'm like, why the fuck would I go in there?
Bro, there's a
Right.
little girl in my house growing up. I fucking saw her.
there's a little girl sitting on the couch right next to you.
Yeah, dude. What's up,
Oh, what's
Shirley?
up? What's up, Shorty? How you doing? Oh, that's my homie.
Nice.
But like, yeah, like.
I just really thought in my head, like, fuck, how scary would that really be?
Yeah.
Like, just like
Hey,
turned
dude,
over,
check
there's
the
somebody
cameras,
right
man.
there.
Oh,
Yeah, I know,
camera.
right? I'm like over here kind of freaking out, like I said that.
Dude, the towel just fucking moved in the bathroom.
It's like there is no bathroom.
No,
Jack.
this is a new house, dude. Ghosts don't live in new houses. Everybody knows that.
Man. But you never had a spiritual ghostly connection or encounter?
Not that I know of. Maybe I just I'm not like the most open to that. So maybe
Sink
I just
never turned
didn't,
on by itself.
Well, I mean the motion detector ones,
I got touched by a ghost before.
I got touched by an angel.
like sexually or just like in general.
No, not sexually.
I told her keep going.
No, dude, I got touched by a ghost once.
Yeah, let
at
me
my
hear about
parents'
that.
at my parents' house, there's a lot of stories about ghost activity at my parents' house. Even from the people that lived there before us, which is crazy enough. Back to the car detailing. I'm car detailing for months, right? I find out the dude I'm working with used to live in my house.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Right.
That's really bizarre.
Ain't that some crazy shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, usually it means like maybe they'd live on the same street or something, but
Right.
he used
the
to live.
same house.
That's
same house.
crazy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for instance, like he's like the big black snake still there. And I'm like, how the fuck did you know about that? The first day that we got to the house, my dad went there first, and there was a giant black snake wrapped around the entrance of the house.
What?
To the door. Yes. Straight up.
Bro.
Right? So
Holy
that's some
shit.
crazy shit right off
Did he
the
cut
bat.
his head off?
No, my dad didn't kill it. I mean, he thought it was like, I mean, what are you going to do in
Yeah.
that situation? Like,
Cut
you
its
know,
head off?
right?
No.
You know, shoot it.
I would be
Yeah.
scared,
But
honestly.
no, he didn't kill it. He like, I don't know what he did,
Yeah,
how he
just-
got rid of it, if he just moved on, but he didn't kill it. I know
Yeah.
for a fact
Whoa.
he didn't kill it.
He's a better man than me.
Yeah, I would have been scared.
Yeah, no, I'd have, dude,
Yeah.
fuck, I wouldn't have moved in the house.
I know.
That's an omen right there.
You got me out.
I
dude.
know, like a big black snake over the
Uh-huh.
archway.
Yeah.
That
No.
would have been a situation where I'm like, now do I necessarily like believe in all this? No, but that's a sign.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Like,
Uh,
I'm not blind.
Yeah, no, yeah, totally crazy. But
Maybe it was a test, and your father showing mercy, he passed.
Right?
Yeah,
So the
You
house
know.
has
yeah.
been blessed.
It's
You know,
still a
there's-
creature of God.
totally
true.
You know, totally.
Dang, that's
But
crazy.
yeah, so no, I got touched by a ghost once.
Yeah.
Up in my cousin Lance's room, the one that like got me into tattooing.
Yes, yeah.
And Lance always believed that there was a spirit in his room. And he's like, bro, I've had these things happen where I've like woke up and I got slammed back down on the bed.
Ooh,
like, you know what I'm
fuck
saying? Like there's something
That's
in
dramatic,
the room.
yeah.
100%. And so I'm just like, I don't not believe you, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't have any problems in my room. It's right,
Right.
underneath
Yeah,
your room.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I got good memories in my
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
Luckily, these ghosts like top floors.
Uh-huh.
You know, and so I went up into the room, and I shit you not, it was me, Lance, my girlfriend at the time, and I came in carrying my dog in my fucking hand, thinking I'm like, okay, I got this dog with me, I'm safe, right?
Right.
I'm
Ward off
okay.
the demons.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll bark or something. Or
He's gonna,
growl.
he's gonna bark or something,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm standing there, and I just started talking to the spirit. I've always been told, like, you know, any good energy, dark energy, you just have to talk to them. They just want to
Right.
be treated like they want to be treated like how anybody wants to be
Okay,
treated.
I never
right?
heard that.
Yeah. So
'Cause they're
I just
here
started
lost.
talking. Yeah, man. You know, I mean, there's, you know, if they are there, there's a reason why, you know, and shit, how would you feel? Nobody talked to you for however many years. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, that's
right?
true.
So,
And all you did was scare people.
right? Yeah, you
Why are
big
they so
ass.
serious?
So I'm standing there with the dog in my hand, and I'm just like, you know, like, if there's someone in here, if you know, if you're in here, just like, please leave my cousin alone. You know, he's just here. He's just trying to sleep. He's, you know, just please leave him alone. And as I said that, I felt someone's hands run from the top of my head all the way down.
What?
And as that happened, my whole entire body filled with goosebumps, and I fucking ran out of the house.
I would have been so
Ran
scared.
out of the
Chills,
house,
dude.
bro.
Oh.
Yeah. So no, that was definitely like my first.
I would have been terrified.
That was the first time I ever got like touched by a
Yeah.
ghost.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
I would have been like,
Crazy shit.
even in
Yeah.
like my own house, if it's super dark, I'll like see stuff in the shadows and walk quicker up and
Right,
down the
right.
stairs.
Yeah,
so
for
I can't
sure.
imagine if I felt an actual
Uh-huh.
physical presence.
Yeah,
Right?
your mind's just playing tricks
Yeah.
on you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Right.
I saw one. I remember vividly. I was like probably 9 years old. I was laying in bed, and my door faced in front of me, and I slept with it open because I was scared of the dark, little kid, whatever. And my mom had always told me that, like, you know, like, yeah, our treadmill will turn on, and like you can hear feet running on it
Oh.
and stuff. And like I thought it was your dad, but he was out drinking coffee in the living room. And so I was like, oh, that's crazy. I'm a little kid. Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting there, and out of nowhere, and kid you not, a little girl in a colonial dress, like, you know, super long, ruffly.
Very old fashioned.
Yes, very old fashioned. Was a white silhouette, just as you picture a ghost. And she walks, stops, turns and looks.
At you?
and starts
no.
walking into the room.
Oh no.
And I just
no.
threw the covers over my head and just started fucking crying. And it was just like, no. But like when she started coming in, you felt like the chill and like the eeriness.
Yeah, totally. You'll feel it.
Oh, dude. And I just threw the covers over my head and ended up falling asleep and didn't feel anything or anything like that. But I had to have my mom sleep with me for like a week after that.
Damn.
It was terrifying,
That is scarring.
dude. Yeah,
Damn.
it was freaky.
Colonial dress too. She couldn't have been wearing like some
some
Right.
leggings,
Hot Topic or something.
yeah, a little crop top.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break. Cody's got to take a shit, and he's got to shower.
All right, so here's a question I want to ask. Well, you guys ready?
Sure.
Okay, so I just
Was that the question?
as creatives, this is a question I wonder. Obviously, you work on a lot of different projects, a lot of different things. Has there ever been a project where you have an idea that you think is excellent, and then when you do it, by the time it's done, you're like, damn, that shit sucked. Or maybe the other way, where you have an idea where you're like, I don't love it, but for whatever reason, maybe there's a deadline, maybe there's some type of thing that you're being paid to do, or have an opportunity, you have to make something and you're not excited about it and you don't feel that great about it, and then at the end of it you're like, oh shit, like that kind of worked.
Yes.
Have you ever had an experience like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about those.
What year did COVID happen?
Like 2020 is when it hit
It was
here.
2020. Okay, so 2019, the end of 2019, talking November.
Yeah.
I had a live painting, and during the show, they had hired me to obviously come in and do a live painting, and they told me, I want you to do 2. Okay, so I knew this night, okay, I'm going to paint 2 paintings. I'm going to do a cityscape and a hawk, okay? And I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, I can do the cityscape in 15 to 20 minutes. I'll have it nailed, done.
Mm-hmm.
I stood there painting that cityscape for almost an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Whoa.
it was kicking my butt.
And what about it made it so, like the detail that like you just didn't like it?
The details, the colors, nothing was just adding up in my mind. How it was like, oh fuck yeah, this is a great idea. It's gonna look great. Da 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 da. And when I got there to do it, it just
wasn't happening.
Dude, oh my gosh. And my brother was there with me, and I got done with the first painting, and he's like, dude, you only have like 15 minutes to like finish.
Oh,
and
no.
So I was like, I need a minute. And I went out into the hallway, and I was trying to get my composure, and I was freaking out. And he's like, dude, it's okay. It looks good. You just kind of have to look at it longer. I'm like, that's the fucking worst thing that you can say. Like, oh yeah, it looks good.
If I look at it and I close my left eye and then I close my right eye, it looks really good.
Right. So I'm tripping out. I'm like, oh, that is the worst thing that anybody could say about a painting. And I'm like, all right. I got my composure back, took a shot, said a prayer, went out, painted the hawk. They took that cityscape up to sell at auction, and it sold us $17,500 two times.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, so the worst painting that I thought I did the whole year ended up setting the record for 2019.
Wow!
Jeez, look at that, man.
Isn't that weird? That's so, like
Crazy, dude.
They must have just looked at it longer.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that's really interesting. It's as a creator, you as well as you think you know what you're making, sometimes you don't. Like there's been a couple of jokes that I've written for like different stand-up shows that I've thought were just like home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried them, 10 plus times in front of live audiences, and they suck every time. Like, the first few times it's like, oh, I told it wrong. Or
right.
Maybe this crowd didn't like it, but the next crowd might, and it's like, damn, that shit just sucked.
Yeah.
And then there's been some jokes where going up to the stage, even though I've prepared this material, I'm like, I shouldn't tell that joke. That joke's so dumb. Like, nobody's going to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And it crushes. Like, there's a joke that I make because my mom's Mexican and my dad's white, so I'm part Mexican. And I tell some jokes about different experiences I had with my Mexican family that were very different from, like, the white side of my family. And there's a couple jokes that I make that kind of fall in there that I think are not that great, but they kind of set up the next ones. Well, it turns out people think those are way funnier than the ones I thought were really good.
Yeah.
And so it's like I tell a joke about like my mom, how her name sounds really Mexican and my dad sounds really white, and that's supposed to just kind of set up the next part. That ended up being the funniest shit of the whole thing, and so now that's like the main joke that I get to, and so it's just weird how that works. What about you, Jack? Have you ever had an experience like that?
Yeah, for sure. I get that all the time, honestly, to where it's like, this is a great idea. How are we going to execute it though? Kind of thing, like in your head, or you can see it and then it's like, well, do I have all the things that I need to set it up? But like for one time, particularly, it was back whenever that ice storm happened. I think it was 2020. It was like just last year.
Yeah, that big, was it like October 2020?
10 days, no power.
Crazy.
Yeah, and there was like, we had like 6 guys at our house. Like we were all hanging out, drinking, smoking, and just like iced in and nothing going on. And I remember it was Patrick. Like he was like, "Dude, get your camera. Like let's do something." And I was like, "Dude, like we're just having a good time drinking, smoking. Like I don't know. Like," and he was like, "Just do it. Like see what happens." And so I was like, "Oh fuck it." And so I set the camera and everything, and we started just messing around. And once the camera came out, ideas just started coming. Yeah. And then we turned it into, I don't know if you ever saw it. It was like a short film. It's called One Glove.
It's good.
It was like a little short, little horror film kind of thing. But
you'll have to say, I want to see it.
Yeah. It should be on YouTube on like Chatch TV. But
okay.
It's like,
I need to go check it out.
It's called One Glove, or the Adventures of Lone Star Reynolds and Ranger Rice. And the episode's called One Glove. And we still need to carry on from that because it was like fun. Those guys are great.
We see another
actors.
ice storm.
Yeah, we need another ice storm.
Just iced in.
Yeah, those guys are great actors. And once it all started rolling and started seeing it, because I like the way I like to videos, I like to have in mind like how I'm gonna piece it together while I'm filming it. Like, okay, this shot's gonna go great right after this shot, and this goes into that, transition to that. So then it's like that story's building in your head. Mm-hmm. And
I think if you don't have that in your head, then like the footage just isn't near as good.
Yeah, then
like
it's
you have to have like a direction to go.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so that's what really kind of helped me to like kind of grasp my style in a sense, to be like, it's 100% okay to go in there and just press record and start piecing things together on the fly in a sense. Like you don't have to go in and be like, all right, I got this script written down, it's going to be just like this. Certain situations, sure, but like for a lot of things that like turn out to be good and where other people like it too, it's just been me in the room with the camera and then just like piecing stuff together.
Gotcha.
And
so you think there's elements of both like the spontaneity and the planning, and when kind of those two mix, that's when it's the best.
It turns to gold.
Because it makes me think of when we were filming my podcast intro. Like I had that really detailed list of like all the shots I wanted to get. Mm-hmm. We go out there to get them, and it was like at each location we thought of new ideas.
Right.
And it was, now I think most of the locations we ended up using kind of in the way we intended, but the shots that made it to the final version were actually stuff we came up with right then. It's like we'd get there, we'd film it, and then we'd be like, you know what actually would be even better?
Yeah, like that's a cool wall, go dance in front of it.
Yeah, and that stuff made it in, and it was like, I thought something else that was really cool. You have like a knack for knowing like when candid moments are coming. I don't know how you do it, but I remember we were talking the whole time we were doing it, but there would be moments where I would just look over and you were recording, and it was like right when we were having like a really funny moment in a conversation, really interesting, and I was like, oh, that's impressive. Like, and I remember when we were editing it, we looked through those clips, and it was like really funny little moments. I think that's really impressive. You have a real knack and feel for moments in conversation that like should be captured. So I don't know how you do that, but that's impressive.
Appreciate that. I feel like I don't know as much about cameras as I do about people.
Ooh.
I feel like I think that's with anything in this artistic life, is you have to know people. I mean, to a certain degree over your craft. Like you can be a master in anything, but if you don't know people, if you don't know how to interact or understand social cues or anything like that, then
it's like, I don't know much about recipes, but I know about food.
Yeah. I know this shit tastes good.
It's like, that's why some movies with a tiny budget are huge hits, and some movies with huge budgets fail. Yeah. Like it's like you have to understand what a viewer is going there to see. I think, like, I'm in the YouTube space, so people are all about I see so many creators, and now I'm a very small creator, so it's like I'm not really speaking from a point of real
Don't say
knowledge.
that.
Don't you say that.
Don't say that.
Don't you put that voodoo
In
on
the
us, Ricky
future, I'm
Bobby.
gonna be a big creator. So all this
Right now, you big creator.
right? I just
Right
gotta
You're like
now.
6'5",
Speak it.
dude.
very large. Most of these guys are short.
I am so large.
But some of these creators, you're right. I think sometimes, like, because some of the things I built are still very small, sometimes I'll like shortchange myself, and it's like if I don't speak internally that way now and legitimize it in my own mind, no vanity metric of followers or viewers is ever going to make me feel like it's the real thing. It's like you have to believe it and be proud of it early. So I think, yeah, you're right. I need to do a better job of that for sure.
I seen a picture yesterday, and it was like Google, Amazon, something else, and it's these pictures of these garages. Okay, that's where they started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Shit, man. That's where
Everything
I started. I
starts
started in
somewhere.
the back of my parents'
Same.
garage.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's called backhouse tapes?
backhouse?
You know,
tapes,
I was
dude.
in a backhouse. I was like,
Shoot.
this would be
At
cool.
least it wasn't an outhouse.
Yeah, outhouse tapes. We produce shit.
But like so many people on YouTube are always trying to figure out, how to like, trick the algorithm into pushing their
Right,
videos
right,
out.
right,
They're trying to
right,
get
right.
like, how can we like clickbait titles
Yeah.
or, viewer retention through like these fancy tricks. But if
Totally.
you watch like and listen to YouTube creators, especially, and I think this is probably in any field, but that's the era that I'm most plugged into. The ones that have had great success and sustained it, they all say it's like, it doesn't matter if you make good videos, none of that shit matters. Like, what does the algorithm do? It shows people videos they're more likely to watch. So if
Right.
you make really good videos and people watch them, they'll get shown. So it's
Yeah.
like people are always thinking about like, oh, how can I like, my title and my thumbnail and this and that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if you make good shit, people will watch it and enjoy it. So it's
Right.
like you're saying, it's much more important to know about people and what an audience wants to see rather than like what thumbnail and title and configuration is most important
Right.
for an algorithm, you know?
Right. And trusting your own judgment too.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Or like would I legitimately, if I didn't know me, or it was just hard to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, would I watch this or would I listen to this? And once, it does something for you personally, then you're like, okay, well, I got to trust my judgment because I feel like, as an artist, you have to be confident in what you do. You don't have to be cocky, but you have to be confident. And it's
Like self-assured is the word I use a
Yes,
lot. Like you
yeah.
gotta, like you don't have to like, yeah, I'm the best,
Yeah.
but like internally you gotta really own your shit. I
Totally.
think you talk about trusting your own judgment. It's so interesting. I was, writing stand-up and performing it a lot and stuff like that. And then I watched this interview with this, now he wasn't a stand-up comedian, but he's a director of comedic movies. So he does understand like what's funny and how to create humor. And he was talking about all the different ways that, he evaluates material and stuff. And he said, at the end of the day, all the things I've said don't matter. They're just guidelines. They're not real. He said, the one thing, he said, do what you think is funny or what you think is entertaining. Right. And it stuck with me because I record every one of my stand-up sets and watch them and evaluate them. I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second. Some of this shit I don't even think is funny.
right.
Like, why am I trying to configure it and work on it? And like some of the stuff that I had abandoned, I was like, I thought that was really funny, and maybe it just needs some more work.
Right.
And maybe it's one of those things that even if the audience doesn't love it, like I think it's really funny. So it's like the crowd that I'm trying to reach will think it's funny. So it's like a weird. It sounds so obvious, but it's something that I overlooked a lot of just
Right.
like, do I think this is really good? And I think that's why I've enjoyed the podcast so much, is because I think like an environment I really thrive in is intentional, like engaged conversations. And so like even when I'm editing, I watch it back, I'm like, you know what? Like for a beginning podcast, like this is pretty good. I really like what I've built so far. It's kind of like this
It is,
self-fulfilling
man.
feedback
Yeah.
loop of like, hey, I like obviously I see a ton of things that could be better, but it's like, you know what? Like
Doing something right.
I'm doing something right.
sure,
It's like I'm
for
having a
sure.
good time. That everybody that's been on it is like, I really enjoyed it. So it's like something's going right. So it's interesting, like stripping away kind of all that external, like, oh, this factor and this metric and this and all that, just going like, do I think
Strip,
this is
Cody.
good?
Strip.
Sometimes you just got to strip away all of your clothing.
You guys
and that
can't
is-
see this, but he's stripping right now. Just listen to the clothes fall. God, I
So
hate nicotine. I said I quit. Hold it to me. podcast viewers, listeners.
Well, are you trying to quit vaping?
Yeah, it's 2022.
Yeah,
drop the jewel.
Okay, I don't know much about vaping. Do all vapes have nicotine?
Unless they have THC.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
really?
CBD. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're trying to quit the vaping?
Oh, yeah, it's fucking
Yeah.
terrible for
Yeah,
you.
dude,
Anybody
so
out there
bad for
that's smoking those vapes, man, you guys need to throw them
Don't
away.
do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Jack says that as he's hitting it.
No, dude, I never like smoked cigarettes. I've always smoked weed like my whole life.
Yeah.
I've never like smoked cigarettes. Both of my grandparents died from lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. And just this past year, I think just like with all the stress of things that I was going through, I started picking it up, and now I haven't been able to put it down. And I recognize it. I'm just like, fucking quit. And I've had this conversation so many times, like with you too.
Yeah, I know, man.
And it's just like you still find yourself like just, it's almost like when you go so casually, like going to get I need to go get a coffee. Well, I need to go get a vape today too. And it's like you don't.
You don't.
And
Dude, I'm gonna recommend the book to you. It's called Atomic Habits. Have you ever read it? It's the best book I've ever read about. So it's like
I don't know how to read.
I'll get you an audiobook.
Thank you.
There we go. So it takes a lot of ideas and concepts that have already been introduced, but what it does really well is it puts them together in like an actionable format where it's like, here's a bunch of concepts about, habits and behavior patterns and decisions. It's like, okay, that's all great. Here's what you can do with this information to make changes that you want to make in your life.
Yeah.
So it talks about like habits or even like drug addictions. Like a lot of the times it has nothing to do with willpower and everything to do with like habit and environment.
Right.
So like a lot of times, like in this book, this guy says, if you're trying to be somebody that every day gets up in the morning and works out at 5 a.m. and meditates and journals before you go to your 9 to 5, which part of that is the hardest? Is it the workout? Is it the meditating? Is it the journaling? No, the hardest part of that is getting up and putting your workout clothes on.
Yeah.
Because like once you've done it, like once you've started, you're going to keep going. It's like the hardest part of stopping anything is like the first trigger of the habit.
Right.
So pretty much like what this book would recommend to you is like, instead of trying to get yourself to stop vaping, just like make sure that you never buy them.
Right.
So it's like, because then it's like you can, like it talks about like locking yourself into future decisions. Like if you just never have it, you'll still crave it because it's impossible. And that's the other thing. Like there's all these studies. It's impossible to actually tell your brain to just stop craving something. That can happen over time.
Right.
But it's like the way people are able to quit cold turkey isn't because they're just like looking at a heroin needle like, I'm not going to fucking do that. It's because they remove themselves from the environment.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what if you just made a commit instead of telling yourself like, okay, I got to stop vaping. All you had to commit to was, hey, when I go in the store, I'm just not going to buy it.
Yeah.
You're
not
thinking,
buying.
yeah.
I just ain't gonna buy
I'm
them.
still vaping. I'm just not buying, man.
and instead of buying them, I'll buy them for you.
I've heard that about,
Exactly.
I've heard that about other drugs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Don't buy it.
Yeah.
Just if it comes to you. Then,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying.
that's always been my motto kind of
Yeah.
thing. I
I
try
don't
not
know.
to do drugs.
I don't do drugs and I don't condone anybody do them. The only thing I do is weed, which I guess is a drug, but
It's medicine.
that's a
You know what I'm
stretch.
saying?
It's legal
Only by
now.
classification is it a drug. I don't think it's the
Right.
same as like. I actually
You know.
think I don't know how many people agree. I would like if somebody I cared about or like my kid one day, I would rather them smoke weed than drink.
yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Like
Yeah.
if my kid was going to do something like some type of substance, I would
For
rather
sure.
him do that. But
For sure.
so we talked a lot about what you guys are pursuing as creative individuals. Some funny stories along the way. Now, instead of a serious topic of the week, I think the serious topic is going to be kind of around some of the emotional aspects of pursuing a creative career. So the first thing that I want to ask that will kind of set the stage for these next couple questions is, what is your ultimate goal with your artistic pursuits? Now, is it to be rich and famous? Is it just to simply, hey, I want to be able to pay the bills and put food on the table pursuing this creative career? Or is it like something more abstract and in between? Is it something you've even thought about? So what do you guys think? Like, I'll go for an example, it's not something that and this is kind of a strange one because it's not something I'm particularly proud of, but I would love to be like a really famous entertainer, like being a stand-up comedian and packing a theater. Like that shit sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Creating a YouTube video or a podcast that a ton of people get to enjoy, and especially the live show element. I think that's even more like packing a theater full of people that I get to tell jokes to that really enjoy and like it, like that sounds awesome. The money I don't think about as much. Like I like the podcast we were talking about earlier, like podcast sponsorships and stuff. I don't even intend to really think about that for a long time, because for me it's more like I just want to makes people feel something, makes people makes them laugh, cry, or think. You know, mostly laugh and think. Yeah. It's like if I'm doing that for a larger and larger number of people, that's my ultimate goal, and hopefully someday it translates to like live shows and tours, and I can build a whole thing out of it. But that's really like my goal. So I guess part of that would be fame at some level, which I'm not super proud to admit, but I do like the idea of being able to like, you know, pack a theater. You know, that sounds awesome. So what about you guys? What's your deeper goal?
Freedom. I would say freedom.
One word. I like that. Yeah.
For sure. Freedom to just be able to not be, you know, just your average Joe in society who works through nothing wrong with it. For me personally, I just feel like there's just so much more to life than waking up and being told exactly what to do at what time and living your life to these certain societal standards. I think with music, arts, videos, everything like that, if you pursue it truly, then that freedom comes. All that fame, all that money, all that shit comes on its own. But as long as you are choosing to pursue it, like deep in your heart, deep in your mind, and execute it, and do the things that people aren't willing to do,
that's a big one.
That are positive, not in the sense of like, joining the Illuminati or anything like that.
No, I get like putting in that work behind the scenes that is
nobody
just hard.
sees, and nobody sees, and
nobody will ever see or care about. It's just like what you got to do.
Yeah, and it's like that's what will ultimately create that freedom. Like, would it be amazing to have a Grammy or an Oscar or something like that? Sure, but that's not like the goal. The goal is just to be free, to be able to be like, all right, guys, going to Mexico today because I just want to go to the beach, and I got my email on me, my phone, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, freedom.
That's a great answer. I love that. And I love what you said about how you were almost equating doing what others won't do to get that freedom. So it's almost like having the discipline to do what others won't get you that freedom, which is kind of like an antithetical sentence, but it's totally true.
Right.
Like, if you just do nothing and all day, it's like that may be like freedom on the surface, but it's not, because you have to like find a way to put a roof over your head and pay your bills.
For sure.
But true freedom comes from it, like what you're saying, in a creative sense of really putting in the work and building something that resonates with people to the level that you can achieve a level of success where you can focus on projects that you really care about, and you're free to pursue what you want to pursue. Man, that's really cool. I love how you summed it up in one word. That was, hit me in the chest. I was like, damn,
there.
freedom.
Ooh.
What about you, Zonley?
I'm a little fucking stuck right now, man. What was the question again?
What is your ultimate goal or objective with your artistic pursuits? It could be very vague and abstract, or it could be like really solid, like why do you do what you do, pretty much?
I almost feel like it's like a two-parter. Why I do what I do, and the main goal or ultimate goal. I feel like my ultimate goal is the reach, right? And so I feel like in order to have the biggest reach, you have to have the fame, you have to have the freedom, you have to have like the guidance and the vision, right? But I feel like to have the ultimate reach, that's the most impactful, because if you're trying to get this message across, or you're trying to get this artwork across, or you're trying to get your video across, you have to have the reach. Otherwise, no one's going to, you know what I'm saying? And I like the reach that I have now and that I have, and each year it's grown, but each year I intend for it to get larger, And so why I do that is because I honestly feel like I was sent here to do that. I feel like I was sent here to reach people with my art and make a difference with my art. And the visions and the creativeness that I have inside of me was not meant for Edmond or Oklahoma City, right? Surely it was meant for people here.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme, it was meant for the world. It was meant for people all the way across, and people that I don't even know and I'll probably never know, but they're going to be affected by it. And so, it would definitely be like the reach. World grand scheme. Zonley. Just like you hear Picasso or you hear Basquiat, right? You know what I'm saying? Or you Michelangelo, Einstein, whatever, Steve Jobs. Yeah. I believe that Zonley will be a name like that. I'm not trying to be douchey in the third person. I'm just saying, like,
no, like your goal.
Yeah, that is 100%.
And you're doing it.
Yeah,
you're doing it, bro.
You're definitely laying a foundation that can be built to that level. It's not like you're just out fucking around. Like I would say you guys are two people that I would say are the most disciplined in a creative sense that I know. Like when I, don't want to work on a video or don't want to, work on a podcast, because as much as I love it, there's times I'd rather like do nothing. You know, it's still hard work. But then I think of like, Jack and Zonla are out there grinding. They're all like every time we talk, you guys are putting out something new, working on something new. So that keeps me going and inspires me. I'm sure it'll do the same for a lot more people. Absolutely. And like the foundation you guys have built. And so that kind of takes you to my next question of, that is the ultimate goal in the future in kind of an abstract way. What about in the present where you're at right now? Are you satisfied with where your career may not even be the right word, but like pursuit of that vision? Are you satisfied with where the pursuit of that vision is right now? Do you feel that you're doing what you need to do to ultimately end up in that space?
I feel like you got to be satisfied but not complacent, right? So you got to be happy and I guess maybe not fully satisfied. Am I fully satisfied? No. Am I satisfied with what I've done so far? Yeah, pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm 100% not complacent, and I'm going to keep going up the staircase, up the ladder.
For sure. I would say I'm excited. Like I'm on fire right now. Like to have that, turn the heater on. Shit. Oh, like just excited with the outcomes that you see from putting in the work and staying committed and staying dedicated, and how much things really do grow. Because like this is never going to end. There's no such thing as retirement. There's no such thing as sipping margaritas on the beach until you die. It's like this journey goes forever, and once you realize that, then you're never truly content. You're content, with yourself and like your desire and what you want to do. But once you sit there and be like, oh, I reached that pinnacle, I did it, then what? Like, do you just die? No, I mean, it's like
that's
life
a scary
goes
thought.
on.
But do you ever just die? Because I'm not just dying, bro. Fuck that. I truly believe that I believe God sent me here, right? And I got duties to do here on earth, right? But after I die, I've got jobs in heaven waiting for me, 100%. I feel like I've got, I still have work to do after my work here is done.
Right.
Ooh. Right? And,
this is just a pit stop.
Right. This is just along the way. This is just the staircase, right? This
almost like it's the building blocks for what's next.
Right. Dominoes, right?
Oh, I like that metaphor.
Yeah, that is nice.
I like what you guys both said about there's no one or the other, like satisfied or unsatisfied. It's like, yes, you have to be like the self-image part of it. You got to be proud of what you've done. But if you're just like, look at me, I did this shit, you're never going to progress any further.
People don't like that.
And it's like that feeling of progression. It's like, especially in like that internal progression and like self-actualization. If you stop pushing yourself into new challenges, whether they have great potential or small potential, you kind of just like, you may not be actually dead, but you're kind of like dead for intents and purposes of growth and maturation. Right. So that brings me to, as artists and creative people, you're often making things that other people will consume. Yes, you have a very special relationship with what you've made, but a lot of times it's, especially like as your reach grows, more and more people will consume it. How do you keep your self-image from being wrapped up in the perception that other people have of your work? Because obviously you have to take their perception and feedback into
Right.
account, but how do you keep, where is the line? How do you keep that from going too far? So I think that's something that's very hard.
You got to do stuff for you too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been having a really big issue with this for the last like 30 or 45 days, right? Because I've been grinding, hustling so hard that I've done all of these commission paintings and all of these live paintings and all these tattoos and sculptures. It was ultimately for other people, right? What have I painted for myself? What have I like done for myself so I can re-energize myself and I don't know, man. Just like I've been thinking about that, and I was meditating on it the other night, trying to figure out like what do I really want. I want to paint some. It's like on the tip of my tongue or on my mind, but I haven't found it yet, right? But I know it's there. I know it's coming,
and it would just be something purely for your own expression,
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not worried whether or not people like it, or if I'm gonna sell it, or how
Yeah.
much it'll sell for. And those are hard things to not think about when you create something.
Yes.
It's hard
Sure.
to shoot a podcast and be like, shit, is anyone gonna listen to this? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Or fucking make the
Yeah.
videos. Is a motherfucker gonna like it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's but I do think that if you can find the way to do those good things purely for yourself, or you know what I'm saying? Not in a selfish way, but tadly, a little bit in a selfish way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I think at times you have to do things for
Yeah,
yourself.
bro,
Like,
you gotta be a little selfish
Right.
sometimes.
it makes me think of, because I was telling you guys kind of the vision for the podcast in terms of like what episode, like how number of episodes I want to do that are maybe solo, guest focused, friend focused. I think it's like long term. What I would love to do is, certain episodes it'll be planned collaborations with maybe a guest of interest that is designed to hopefully grow the podcast to a new audience.
Sure.
But I think keeping episodes where it's just maybe a solo episode or maybe an episode with friends where we just talk about shit that we care about that may do nothing to grow the podcast,
Sure.
may do nothing to entice a new listener, but it's just like something that I want to make that I can look back on and be like, that was a really great conversation
sure.
or a good, form of expression. I think that balance is important.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you? How do it's like the balance
I
of
would-
that? I thought your answer was really
Yeah,
good. By
no,
the
that's
way.
really good, man. I would say it's like self-respect.
Mm.
If you, as long as you continue to respect yourself and respect others, you'll get that respect, or you'll get that, those views or those people encouraging you or like wanting you to do more. Because when you sit there and you start getting down on yourself because you're doing all these things for other people and you haven't been able to do it for yourself or anything like that, you just sit there back and you're like, all right, well, I know my worth. I know how much I need to respect myself and know that I'm not doing something wrong. I'm not being a failure by just helping others and not helping myself. You just have to sit back and understand that what you're doing in the moment is ultimately for a good cause. It's for yourself too, because you're also working on your own craft. You're the one making it, and it might be for someone else, but it's because you respect yourself enough to respect that person, to do it for them and to finish it and for them to have a positive outcome.
I like the word choice of respect. It's almost like regardless of the impact or reach of one particular project, you got to be able to look at yourself and be like, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of the work I put in, and over time, if you continue to just do the best you can, that success will build and it'll come. Like it just takes time, but it's like, it's almost like, looking in the mirror and being like, you know what? Like I'm proud of me.
Right.
I did work that I'm proud of regardless of the impact. So I think that,
but the world doesn't owe you shit.
correct. Yeah.
It's like you come in here bare ass, you're gonna leave bare ass, and
It's
nothing's
not gonna
owed.
stop spinning for anybody.
Correct.
Nothing is owed. So when you really grasp on that, because pride is the devil for sure. Because if it takes over, then you can become a monster. And that's why you have to do the things to keep yourself humble, to respect yourself, respect others, and then everything else just falls into play.
Speaking of, I think piggybacking off kind of a couple comments you guys made, I want to ask, has there ever been a time when maybe you lost sight of that and you started to doubt yourself in your pursuits of these creative passions? Because I think for me, the most often when it happens is I start thinking about how I'll be perceived, or start thinking about how will this particular venture or project, what if it fails? What if it flops? What if nobody cares? And it's like, well, I'm already thinking about the wrong things.
Right.
If those are so it's like when I start to doubt myself is when I start focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah.
So have you guys ever have you ever doubted yourself in any way, and what was that experience like?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, constantly, at least maybe once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Where it just hits you. And I mean, I truly think that that's evil in your head, because just like there's good in the world, there's evil, and whether it's visible or invisible, it'll attack you, and you just have to know that you're stronger than it, and you stay on the path that is for you.
Now, do you think there is a healthy amount of doubt, or is any doubt bad?
Man, I feel like you got to have a little bit to really show like how strong you can be to be able to overcome it.
I feel like it's a human trait.
Yeah.
Because I think there, like, a certain amount of self-doubt, just from my own personal experience, has been good, because I think it also depends on like the source of that doubt. If the source of the doubt is coming from me focusing on the wrong things in a project, or me worrying about what other people might think of what I'm doing or how successful it'll be, I don't think that's good. But I think in terms of like if I doubt, like, is this really the best I could do? Is there more I could be pursuing? Could I be giving another level, like that level of doubt, or is this really the best way to do this? Those kind of doubts I find lead to some really valuable self-reflection that, hey, maybe there is a different way I could be doing it, or a better way I could be doing it. Or when I self-reflect and realize, no, this is the exact way I should be doing it, that gives me like a renewed sense of confidence. So I think like a healthy amount of doubt, it has to come from the right places. Like if it's from, is this going to succeed or fail? Like that's not doing you any good. But if it's from, am I pursuing this the best way I could be pursuing this in the healthiest way with the best methods? I think those are some good doubts. What do you guys think about that?
Almost like critiques.
Yeah, like self-analysis maybe is a better word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe you didn't have doubt in the moment when you did it, but then you're like, fuck, I didn't do that as great. Or, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I do that a lot. I do that with everything, man.
And
but I critique it all.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be stuff that I'll listen to on this. I'm like, damn, I said that. But I don't know. Try not to have doubt in the moment, but
for sure.
I think that's inevitable to critique it, to not critique it. I used to do it unhealthily. Like
where you're your own worst critic.
Oh man. Yeah. And that's
really destructive.
It's like,
it can be destructive.
Yeah. Destructive criticism on yourself, then leading to self-doubt. And the next time you go up there, or the next time that you're doing something, when really it should be like, okay, that was that. I'm gonna do this better this time, and now I feel better, and now my energy's here, and I'm gonna kill it.
Learn from your mistakes. Yeah.
It's kind of like if it's doubt that, it sounds like what you're saying is, if it's doubt that immobilizes you, that can be really bad. Totally. But if it's doubt as in terms of like, is this really the best I could be doing? Well, I'm going to do my best anyway. And once it's done, I can step back, learn from it, and do it better next time. Yeah. I think that, but if it's doubt that's immobilizing you, because I've faced a lot of that with YouTube specifically. Yeah. It's like, I want to make comedic YouTube videos, and it may not sound like the most, noble, fancy pursuit, but it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Now I've made, I think, like 35 or 6 videos, but it takes me forever to make a video, because instead of, okay, I'm going to put this out and learn from it, I'll just overthink it. And I think that's like a bad kind of doubt. Right. Where it's like, you have to have, it's almost like the balance of having the self-assuredness to put it out, knowing that it's not your best, but also the self-awareness to be like, that's not my best. Let me learn why so I can do it better next time. So almost kind of removing your emotions to a certain extent from what you're putting out there, which is hard to do, because also what you're making is so tied in with your emotions and who you are. So it's a very thin line.
Yeah, it might not be your best, but guess what? Like Joe Schmo down the street might love it.
That's true.
That's why you just gotta let it go.
Just like we were talking about earlier, there's been projects each of us could think of off the top of our head that we thought weren't good, or ideas that we thought weren't great, and then they turned out awesome.
Because guess what? There's no such thing as perfect.
So true.
Whether if you think it's perfect, someone else might think it's shit.
What's that saying? Perfect is the enemy of good. I think
That
that's
sounds cool.
I think that's a famous saying. I think it's something like that. Where
Cody
it's like,
Troutman.
Yeah.
Perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's true though. It's like striving for perfection will keep you from making anything good because you won't make anything at all because it'll never be
Right.
perfect.
Exactly.
I know a guy like that.
I know a couple, man.
All right, that brings me to my last because I Zonley has the artist. He's got a tattoo to
I
get.
do.
So our last
Gotta get it, man.
our last final point. Here's what I want to wrap up with. We're all, I would like to say, close friends, and we're all also in like a creative space where there is some overlap and there's some distance. We work together and we get to see each other work independently.
Yeah.
All that to say, I would like to go around and do a little feedback session where we say what we admire or like best about each other, and then we also say one thing that we have observed that like it's like as an honest friend, hey, maybe think more about this. So maybe if that's not super clear, like what I would say for both of you, and even though
Good roast us, dude.
yeah, it's like they're pretty similar, but I want to make sure it's like an individual thing. I would say like what I admire most about you, Jack, is that you are, because you're like a tour manager, doing music videos, doing a lot of different music and things like that. You're just in environments that can be very chaotic, hectic, even potentially destructive. And like there's a lot of temptation to not necessarily, I'm not talking like right and wrong, but just do things that are distracting. Right. And there's endless distractions you get caught up in. I really admire about you your ability to stay focused, stay yourself, stay humble. You're always seeming to just kind of be focused on, what you're doing and never letting the environment dictate your behavior or your attitude. And I think especially because you're so immersed in that world, that's really hard to do. So that's always impressed me about you. I've always valued that characteristic about you a lot.
That, man. Appreciate it. Those are kind words.
Hey, you're welcome. And Zonley, I think that what I admire most about you is that painting, sculpture, and like art forms like that, it is, maybe it's because I don't have a lot of experience with it, but for me, it seems very hard to have any kind of structure, schedule, or plan with those things. Cause that is like, painting and sculpture. Those are like the truest of total art forms. You're like making something out of materials. And so I would say that what has always impressed me about you is the amount of discipline and consistency that you bring. Because I think a lot of times, like when books I've read from people that are very, very successful in a creative field, they're like, you can't wait to be inspired. You got to put in the hours and put in the work. You put in the hours. Like you're always painting, you're always tattooing, always working on a project.
The dude doesn't sleep.
I know. It's like whether or not I never hear you saying like, I'm just waiting for the inspiration. It's like, no, I'm gonna get my ass in the studio, and I'm gonna work on this thing that I know. And I've even watched you like a couple paintings you did, the giant Adam and Eve one specifically. When I watched you do that live, you were talking about how that was a really hard painting for you to paint because you didn't quite know how you wanted to do it.
I fought the devil through that.
Yeah, it was like a real internal struggle, but you didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to wait until I feel right." It's like, "No, I'm doing it today, right now, whatever whatever it takes. This painting is going on this canvas." And so I think your ability to show up every day in such an abstract field but bring such a level of consistency to it. I really admire that about you. So that's
thanks, brother.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
I gotta follow up with that for sure, because that's I see it 24/7 with you, dude, and it gives me inspiration as well. Just how committed and dedicated you are to your craft and to everything that you do, and it's like if there was more Zonleys in the world, man, this place would be
for real.
We'd be in a crazy utopia, man.
We would be in a better place.
It's inspiring for sure, dude.
Thank you.
Not to rain on the parade, but now from afar,
Ooh,
something I would challenge you to reflect on.
Okay.
I would say that, and this is from an outside perspective looking in, I guess this is more to both of you since it's but like the Alive music, like that shit is great. And I wonder if, I don't know what the long-term vision is for that, but I wonder if that's not something that it would be a good idea to like really focus more on and dive deep into, because I mean, you guys made one EP and like on Spotify, every song has tens of thousands of streams. It's on all these like playlist. Everybody that listens to it really likes it. And now I know you guys have other stuff that probably you got to pay the bills, keep the lights on. But like, I would wonder, is that like an area that there might be like so much more potential to that? And now I'm not with you guys in the studio every day, so hey, you may be working on it all the time.
Oh yeah, no,
but
we are.
But yeah, that would be. I would challenge both of you to like maybe think about like pursuing that even harder, because I was amazed at how good
Thank
that
you.
was.
Totally, thank
That
you.
was talks on the car ride over here, man.
Oh shit!
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go.
Yep.
No, we never stopped talking about the music or stopped creating music.
Yeah.
I'd say probably at least 5 days a week we're creating music right now.
That's like what he was saying. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. As close as we are, I still don't even know about what's going on behind the scenes.
I'm
So
about to go eat lasagna with my mom, then go to the studio tonight, man.
damn, there you go.
Our next project is coming. It's going to be titled The Open World.
Oh, okay.
I just got goosebumps when I said that. But yeah, it's The Open World.
Yep. It's
I'm just going to leave it at that, man.
Yeah.
And that's another EP, maybe a full album.
We haven't necessarily decided how many songs, but there's a lot of songs that fit the open world for sure.
I like that.
So it's coming, man. This year you'll definitely hear a lot more alive.
Good.
100%.
I want to feel a lot.
You're gonna
more.
feel a lot more
We're
alive,
gonna
man.
feel it, man.
I promise.
Hell yeah. What about you guys? Do you have any feedback? I want to give you guys a.
Well, first, I would
open
say
the
for
floor.
you, Cody, your charisma is absolutely infectious, dude. Anytime you walk in a room, you know how to just like, I don't know if the word is manage, but just like keep the vibes rolling.
Totally.
Keep the energy up. I've never seen you with a sad face. I've never seen anybody around you with a sad face.
Totally.
And like everything you do, you're always working towards putting a smile, making somebody laugh. And I applaud you for that, because there's a lot of fucking assholes in this world, and you are not one of them, sir.
Thank you, man.
And just want to let you know, dude, I believe in you. I believe in everything you're doing here with Cody TroutPod, with your comedy, with all of your sketches, everything, dude. Just never get discouraged or off track, because that's what you're meant to do, dude.
Thank you, man. That means a lot. I really appreciate that.
For sure, it's true, man.
Hard to follow that with you, Cody, for sure.
He's just like, retweet.
Yeah, retweet. Can I get that? Yeah. No, for real, bro. No matter when I seen you, whether it was 7 a.m. in the morning or 7 p.m. at night or 2 a.m., bro, your energy unmatched. Personality unmatched. Okay? And those are qualities and things that separates you in this world from anybody else out there, bro. And that's badass.
Thank you, man.
And you're a badass dude.
I really appreciate you guys. I think, like, I haven't really talked about it on the podcast, but stepping away from professional golf for a while and maybe forever, I don't know how much, like, I tried to, late summer of 2021, tried to make a comeback and instantly sustained, well, not instantly, but within 2 months, it sustained another devastating wrist injury. And so now I'll be out until late summer 2022. And it's like, I wonder if the writing on the wall that I need to be doing something different. And anyway, the reason I say that is because, during 2020 and 2021, when I was dealing with the back injuries and the wrist injuries and couldn't play and was pursuing other stuff, all the quote unquote close friends I thought I had, turns out we just played golf together. And so started spending a lot more time with you guys over the last couple of years and have formed like some really meaningful friendships. And so to hear, that feedback is really affecting. I really appreciate it. And so I really am grateful for all of our friendships. What about, I think, whether like to each other or to me, like what are some areas that we want to challenge ourselves in going forward? Like I said that it would be, and you guys are doing it already, like with the Alive music. What else could we be doing?
So were we critiquing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
So I think that's something that I don't do a great job of as a friend that I want to do a better job of is like, I think that I would like to believe I'm a pretty good encourager. Like I observe qualities in my friends and I make sure to point it out to them. Hey,
sure.
I respect this about you. You're doing this great. But I think one thing I want to be better at is you know, if I'm really close with somebody and I think there's an area where maybe they're holding themselves back, or maybe I want to ask like, hey, you know, what's going on? I want to be better about that. So I want to,
I'll go first.
Okay.
Critique, Cody. You need to start seeing yourself as a big motherfucker. You need to start seeing yourself as the energy that other people interpret off for you and that you put off, bro. I don't care where we're shooting this podcast right now. It's not going to be the same place we're shooting it next year. And you need to, you need to remember that.
Yeah.
And you need to believe that. And you need to fucking just believe it, bro. Because there's one thing for sure is that nobody in this world is going to believe in you the way that you need them to believe in you to keep going. You got to believe in yourself. 100%.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got all the tools, all the charisma, all the swag to be able to do it. Now you just need to do it.
Yeah.
So that's my critique for you. It's just to fucking believe, bro.
That is good feedback, because that's something that, especially trying something so different from, you know, golf or like traditional business, moving from those fields into this one, there is a lot of times where I'm like, oh gosh, like, you know, I don't know if I'm really that good at this, or, oh, I'll be good someday. And I don't actually believe like, yeah, I'm doing good now. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
I think I need to hear that sometimes.
Yeah. In the most brotherly fashion. Like, that's the only ways I'm telling you that, because I care about you and you are my brother.
And I appreciate it. Yeah.
Not meant to be mean at all.
No, it didn't come off the way. I
Okay,
appreciate
good.
it. Thank
Good.
you.
Jack, I'd say, oh man,
Lay it off me, bro.
let it go, man. Let it go, man. Okay.
It's like, damn, shower more, bro. Shit.
I'd say Jack, and it's hard to say right now because I feel like you're already in the process of becoming Jack, Yak, whatever the fuck you want to be. You that. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for real, I already feel like you're finding your own fucking shoes and your own, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. The only critique I could say would just to not give up on that and to find yourself no matter what these other people, girls, guys, influences, whatever that is don't let nobody stop you from that journey of truly finding yourself and your momentum and your fucking energy and your willingness to just keep going and to use those people in your life, not to use them, but to take their inspirations and their energies and make it build in you and, you know, become more of you and really give this fucking world what you have to offer, because what you have to offer the world is a lot. Straight up.
Damn.
That was good.
Bro.
Straight up.
Fucking love you.
That was nice.
Love you too.
Thank you. That was good. Jack, do you have any critiques or feedback for us?
Man,
I almost brought a tear to my eye.
hey, man.
I know, this is
I had to look
Good.
away from the camera, bro. That
It's
brought
hard-
a tear to my
hard-
It's
eye.
hitting hard.
Hard
Thank
for
you,
me to
Zonley.
do.
I appreciate you sharing.
For sure.
Hard for me to do critiques just because I freaking think you guys are already fucking amazing in what you do. I would say, Cody, maybe, you know, if these deep conversations you fucking are excellent at, you fucking moderate them so well and you bring them out of us and other people, I would say maybe focus on doing more of these deep talks, because, you know, the surface in comedy is fun.
Yeah.
But if it's on 24/7, then whenever you get to those deep talks, it's hard for an outside person to, you know, maybe take you serious or something.
That's
I
true.
know I'm saying I take you seriously, and I'm just saying from like an outside looking in, the more that, like Zanu was saying, holding yourself as that you're a big man. I'm the big man, you know.
Yeah.
And
I'm
taking
very
yourself huge, taking yourself serious and like being able to channel that deeper level with people will just take you to the moon.
I think you're right. And I think that,
100%.
like, even sitting here during this episode, like, I do want this to be like a comedy podcast in a sense, but I don't
Fun.
think there's any
Yeah.
reason that it can't be both. Like, we told a lot of
Totally.
funny stories and we're
Yeah.
also having great conversations. So it's like my vision for this early on was just to, like, you know, be funny. But it's like that feedback, it's interesting that you kind of hit on something that I've been thinking about a little bit,
Right.
where it's like,
Yeah.
I really like these types of conversations
Totally.
where
Yeah, dude.
you get into it and
Because you
So
get somewhere with them.
Yeah, mixing elements of both of that. So I really appreciate that. Thank
Yin
you.
and yang, baby.
Yes, yes.
Yin and yang.
It's like
Mix a circle.
Yeah. It's not that square. Z-Boy for you, man.
Oh,
Get your shit
man.
together, bro. No, dude.
Slacking.
No, dude. It's hard for me to critique anything on you either, dude. You're already such an influential and inspiring person, and you do your own thing. You walk to the own beat of your drum. I would say, just really, really channel that more often, and fuck the critics, fuck the haters. Continue to just really channel that. If you want to wear white socks with those pants because you like those white socks, fucking wear them.
Yeah.
If you wanna have neck tats, own it, wear it, bro. Like, cause that's you, and it's 100% individual. It's individualistic. I don't even know that's the word. You, bro.
Yeah, I feel that.
And if you ever lose that, you lose you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what Billy Bob or Shirley Shimple thinks, about anything on the outer appearance or the words that you say whenever you're talking to all these big crowds. Like, every time you do it, it's special. So just don't ever forget any of that. Don't ever sit there and have those little doubts whenever you want to do something, and you might start thinking, oh, I don't know if these are the right words or if this is the right time. No, dude. Get that, push that away and do it, because that's a different energy channeling through you that is there, and everybody wants to hear it or see it.
Thank you.
Damn, that was well said.
Thank you. He's been there with me a lot of times where I've had to go on stage and I've had to, get up in front of crowds of people, and it's fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's hard to, at that time, have that belief and no doubt in you. So I appreciate that, because he's been there. I'm like, bro, is this okay? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah,
Every
dude,
time.
you have to.
Yes, dude.
You got this. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate
Nobody
that, bro.
else in there is gonna say it.
Yeah.
Nobody
And
else
sometimes
has
that-
mic in their hand.
Yeah.
bro.
And sometimes that, certain amount of maybe self-doubt or insecurity makes you more authentic and relatable. Like, you're getting up there anyways. You're like, damn, this makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I'm still learning and growing. I'm not speaking to somebody that has it all figured out. But guess what? I'm up here saying what needs to be said anyways. I think that's
real.
very,
Yeah.
very courageous and
that's real.
honorable. But
Sure.
I know you got to go give a beautiful tattoo to somebody.
Amen.
So,
I
I want to say thank you both
Hey,
for coming to this episode of the Cody
Totally.
Trout Pod.
thank you.
Can't wait to have you back.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Trout.
You're welcome.
Anytime.
Me tomorrow on my computer. Roll the outro music. We'll see you next time.